one thing that Mike Johnson is interested in these days, not the Matt Gaetz report, doesn't want to hear anything about that. But he is interested potentially in recess appointments. And so he was in an interview recently talking about how he might be willing to play ball with Donald Trump's request that they not put his nominees through the normal process because they probably wouldn't survive it. He's on board. You know who isn't? Mitch McConnell, the old crow himself, apparently does not want to play ball on that. He apparently said over the weekend at a Washington gathering, there will be no recess appointments. Now, that tweet by a staff writer at the New Yorker was eventually deleted. I haven't seen any update that says that, oh, he was misquoted. And you can come up with reasons why he might not want to do this for Donald Trump. We'll remind you of some of the things Donald Trump has said about the old crow in the past and his wife. But anyway, MAGA is not happy about this. They're freaking out. Mike Lee is reiterating that McConnell is no longer the Senate GOP leader, saying, remember that time when McConnell decided he wouldn't be speaking for Senate Republicans anymore? Republican Senator Rick Scott of Florida was one elected official to publicly deny the missive to Meyer. Yes, they will. They will have the recess appointments. He's saying, bear in mind, he was rejected to be the head of the Senate Republicans. People on Twitter are saying things like this guy's in for a rude awakening if he thinks he's going to usurp the will of 76 million people and dictate Trump's second term. Snitch McConnell is trying to block Trump's cabinet. Again, it's not blocking his cabinet for him to go through the normal process that every other president has had to go through. That's not what blocking a cabinet is, by the way. And anyway, Charlie Kirk is, I guess, trying to use this as a way to get John Thune in trouble, saying, Senator Thune, care to chime in? Is this your position? I mean, he didn't say it. It was Mitch McConnell. But also, the usurping the will thing, Francesca, I know everybody likes to take the results of an election and imply exactly what people were voting for. I don't think 76 million people were like, I want Trump. And furthermore, I want him to have recess appointments so he can get his cabinet appointed expeditiously. I think that's reading into the results of the election a little bit too much. But what do you think? Do you think they'll end up getting these? It's hard to imagine how some of these nominees, like Matt Gaetz, maybe Pete Hegseth, would make it through a full vote. But what do you see happening?
I mean, I would argue that is what they voted for, and I would argue that is what a lot of Republicans have now signed up for, which is that Donald Trump is a dictator on day one, on day two, on day whatever 7,812. That's that's what they want from him. And Mitch McConnell is old news. Mitch McConnell paved the way for Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell successfully paved the way for this extremist Supreme Court. You are no longer needed, sir. Go F off into the night. And that's what they're telling him. And so look, I'm not saying that the guardrails that currently exist against Trump actually becoming that dictator are not important, but I'm not sure that we have people of good conscience, and I'm not even sure Democrats are willing to do what it takes. I mean, elected officials are willing to do what it takes to enforce those guardrails. The only thing we have truly is Republicans' own fecklessness, idiocy, and infighting to save us. If Matt Gaetz is successfully gets to be Attorney General and things shake out, they might only have 219 in Congress, which means they need 218 to pass anything in the House, which means that Democrats can pick off one Republican and their legislation gets screwed, right? Which is amazing. And it's amazing that, of course, it all comes out of Matt Gaetz because he loves gumming up the works in the House. In fact, they all love gumming up the works. So what we really have is allowing them enough rope to hang themselves with. Yes, there will be many consequences for all of us, and we have to find legal and obviously pressure points in many different ways: street protests, mass organizing, community-based building, supporting these immigrant rights organizations, and many other things. But in terms of at the top, I think we really have to look at them to say, you guys are gonna eat each other alive. Yeah. We know it, and we have to sit and wait for it to happen, John.
Yeah, look, I think you're right, and I will say I put a message on Blue Sky, I think, to this effect. Like it is looking increasingly like there's enough remaining factionalism that there's going to be some backstabbing, and a lot of these people are going to flame out. There's going to be a lot of scandals. Like we're going through the first iteration of the cabinet. There was a lot of turnover the first time. There's likely to be a lot of insane turnover here. And they are so incompetent and insane, and they all want to stab each other in the back if that gets them closer to Donald Trump, that it is likely that they will undercut themselves. And look, politically, I guess that's a good thing for the Democrats, but just bear in mind, like there's a cost to a government that cannot function. And there's a cost to a government that people are being appointed to lead it as if the goal is for it to not function. There's a cost to that. And regular people are going to feel it, and so that's the road that we seem to be heading down. And so I am very worried about that. We'll have to see. We'll see. With the recess appointments and everything, if I have to bet on something, it's going to be deference to Donald Trump from the Republicans. But we'll see. Maybe there will be a couple of brave people willing to light their career on fire to say no to the recess appointments. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.